The interview with BJNN is brought to you by Biz Events, connecting the Central New York business community through events.
I'm Marnie Nasher, President of the Business Journal News Network, and I'd like to welcome David Foor, President and Owner of Visual Technologies. Visual Technologies started in 1954 and was purchased by David in 1981. It's an audiovisual company located here in Syracuse with currently 18 employees. Thanks for joining me.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
Well, I always like to get to know you a little bit better.
Okay.
I don't know your background, so if you can share with us where you grew up and where you received your undergraduate degree.
Okay. Well, my first 14 years were spent here in Syracuse. We lived on the north side, and my first entry into business was as a paper boy. I had 120 papers that I delivered every Sunday, and that's kind of where I started my business degree. From there, we moved down to Richfield Springs, which is near Cooperstown. I finished high school, and I graduated with 22 people.
Okay.
So I was in the top 10% of my class because I was number 4.
Excellent.
I continued my education at Mohawk Valley Community College in Utica and received an AAS degree in business and in marketing and insurance. From there, I transferred out to the University of Wisconsin at Madison campus. I was out there for 4 years, a wonderful time. Madison is very similar to upstate New York, a lot of lakes, but very flat and but very, very progressive campus. I learned a ton being out there on my own, and then I returned to Syracuse. When I returned to Syracuse, I went into insurance sales with Prudential Insurance for 4 years, and then I decided that that wasn't going to be my lifelong passion, and I was able to, with the help of my dad and another gentleman, I was introduced to Ewald Moss, who owned visual aid equipment at the time, and mainly the products sold were to schools. Record players, film strip projectors, screens, pretty much old school. And I decided after working with Mr. Moss for 30 days that I would like to buy the company, and with a $25,000 loan from my mom. And
She was the bank.
She was the banker, and she believed in me. And also Mr. Moss took back a note, and over the next 5 years, I paid back both of them.
Well, wait a minute. Can I ask how old you were at the time?
Well, this July, I started 38 years doing this. And I'll be 65 in September. So we can do the math. I think I was 27.
That's amazing. True entrepreneur.
Yes. Well, as I mentioned earlier, I think a lot of it goes back to, at an early age, beginning as a paper boy when I was 12, but also my dad helped all of us. I have 2 other brothers, and he was very aggressive in helping us get into business. And his philosophy was, when we wanted something, whether it be a snowmobile or a motorcycle or something, if we earned half the money, he'd come up with the other half. So we were very ambitious growing up. To my first snowmobile, I pumped gas an entire summer to earn enough money to meet my half of the... Great life lessons and great business lessons. Very much.
So who was your role model growing up then?
Well, my role model would be my dad.
Okay.
He, as I said, he gave us the opportunity, he pushed us, and he also made us realize that a handshake was our word. Over the 38 years that I've been at Visual Technologies, we've closed a lot of deals, and a lot of them have been handshake. So that you got to live up to your word and perform, and that's why a lot of our customers come back to us, is that we go the extra mile.
So today then, for advice in the business world, who do you reach out to? Is it still your father, or are there other
not so much
people?
my dad. I'm part of a business group called Syracuse Executives, and there's a lot of businesses in there. There's an accountant, and they've become a trusted member of my inner circle. And I guess any advice I would have on somebody starting out in business would be to surround yourself with some major people, a good lawyer, a good accountant, a good insurance agent, people like that. So I have a pretty close-knit team of people that I consider as part of our inner circle. Plus, I'm very proud to say I have 3 key people who have been with me over 30 years, and I've got another 6 people that have been with me 25 years.
Actually, that was one of my questions. You have, I don't know what your secret is, but you really have employees that have been with you a very long time, and that's not easy to do. And I'd like to know if you have a secret for that.
Well, I think the secret is to treat everybody with respect. Realize early on, I don't know everything. There's a lot of technical things that are involved, and I have a couple people that are real techies, and a couple young people that kind of live and breathe that. I've got an office manager. She's more than an office manager, Michelle, who has been there over 30 years, and she handles all of our accounting and a lot of our HR things. And I'm very proud to say in the 38 years I've been in business there, we've never bounced a check. Of course, they don't allow me into the checkbook, but I feel that you've got to give people the ability to use their skill sets, and by doing so, I like to consider that my management style is more of a participatory, where I'm a member of the team. It's not, David and then, kind of the pyramid on that. So I like to think that we've built a good culture at Visual Technologies. People are respected. We have some ability as a small company to be flexible too. So-and-so has a child that's sick today. Well, can they come in the afternoon and work, from 2 till 10 at night and do some things? And there's some flexibility that we have, and we also cross-train. So by doing so, it allows people the flexibility to work some different hours, but also if they have family challenges, then...
As everybody does.
Exactly. So we can support each other.
Tell me about the technology in your industry. That certainly has changed from when you first purchased the company. What are some of the products and services that you're offering right now?
Well, 20 plus years ago, Kodak was our major vendor. Slide projectors, overheads. Nowadays, unfortunately, Kodak is no longer a player in the AV marketplace. We do have Sharp, we have Panasonic, we have those types of players. But unfortunately, Kodak and their product line, they lost sight of how to keep up with technology. Mm-hmm. And technology is screaming ahead. It seems that all you have to do is look at your cell phone. Do you have the same cell phone this year as you did last year?
Right.
Or laptops? And that's one of our biggest challenges, is to stay current. But because as a regional upstate New York company, we're able to purchase, we invest about $100,000 a year in new technology, but we're able to spread it out over our various clients. I'm proud to say that the Marriott Hotel Syracuse is one of our clients, the Sheridan University, the Holiday Inn. Those are the major meeting facilities, along with the On Center, SRC Arena, the Dome, that we supply equipment and AV services to. The other part of our business is in design and install, where we will install a classroom with monitors, electric screens, sound systems, anything that's AV, audiovisual related.
Okay, and what is your territory? You said upstate, so
yeah.
How far do you go?
We typically like to concentrate on a 2-hour radius of Syracuse, which extends us out to about 90 miles.
Okay.
The reason for that is because I've built the business also on service, and if you get out more than 2 hours away, you always can't be service oriented as you can be to your clients within that 2 hour radius. So typically up to A Bay, south to Binghamton, a little bit over towards Corning, and then Utica and usually Seneca Falls. So basically we take a slice right out of Center State. We do have companies that we travel with that will invite us. NBT Bank is one of our larger accounts. One of the young men that works for me, Don Farrington, is been requested by that client to service their meetings here in the Northeast. He's traveled to Vermont, he's traveled to Maine, he's traveled to Pennsylvania for them. And while we do travel, a majority of our business is regional here in the upstate New York.
So I want to move on to the topic of community and volunteering, and that is big for your company and for you, who participate with a lot of nonprofits. I actually just read that you never say no, you always say yes to every nonprofit. First of all, is that true? And how can you afford to say yes to everybody?
Well, a few years back, one of my key people, Andrew, made it quite aware to me that we cannot donate 100%. So we came up with a policy that we will say yes to every business, but not at 100% donation. So many of our nonprofits, whether it's Make-A-Wish, whether it's Boy Power, the Boy Scouts, whether it's Junior Diabetes, whether it's Father Champlin, I mean, we say yes to all of them. Then we work with them on their budget for the rental and staging of the audiovisual for an event. Every event needs a podium, a microphone, some speakers. We have helped them create their events so they realize that they can bring visuals to the event. And by doing so, they honor, maybe there's an honoree that's getting an award. Well, we get them, we'll sit with them, develop a budget for our services, and then we'll step up and help sponsor. So in a case where someone might need $5,000 worth of audiovisual services, we may step up and donate $2,000 to them. That way they can enhance their gala, their evening, their event, and at the same time we can say yes to them as far as making it work for them.
Well, it's very generous to do that, to be able to support them. And what about in terms of volunteering, not only your services, but do you volunteer time or with nonprofit boards?
I'm was a member of the MOST board for many, many years, and still kind of an adjunct member there. I've participated with Leadership Greater Syracuse. Going back when before the Center State became Center State, there was the Chamber of Commerce. I did some work with the Chamber. So what my theory has always been is we're a community-based business. And if we can help out the nonprofits and the community in general, if we can help just make life better here in Central New York, it's just good karma. What goes around comes around. And so we've been able to, I like to say, put our name out there in the proper areas where we've helped out different groups. And as such, we've been able to cultivate some business from it. Many years ago, we were doing a healthcare event and made a donation and things to it. And the folks at Welch Allen had also been part of this. And we got together, and now Welch Allen is one of our major clients as well.
So my last question to you is, before we end, how do you feel about the Central New York business community? What do you see on the horizon? What would be your opinion on that?
I think we've got a lot of great opportunities for growth here in upstate New York. You only have to look recently at the weather conditions around the United States. Hurricanes and floods and fires, and fortunately we don't have most of those in upstate New York. Yes, we have snow, but we also have a lot of people that know how to plow snow and manage that seasonal aspect. We've got a great opportunity with technology down in the Rome area with the drones, and that technology being that we're one of, I believe, 6 sites nationally to have authorization for research and development of drone technology. And I think that with our new changes in government here, with Mayor Walsh and with Ryan McMahon as the head of the county, I think that we've got a lot of people, a lot of good synergy. And the growth of the downtown, you've got a lot of little businesses. And while we may not have many Fortune 500s any longer, we have a lot of good technology starts, and I'm very
You sound
upbeat,
very optimistic.
thank you. Optimistic on the upstate New York, and then subsequently the growth of our business.
That's great.
So.
And thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. It's
My
been
pleasure.
wonderful.
And that's all we have time for today. Please join us next time. Check out our website at cnybj.com for more updates. Thank you.